What is the biggest thing in the universe? It sounds like such a simple question, doesn't it? But as we'll discover together, the answer will take us from the familiar world around us to structures so massive they dwarf entire galaxies, and perhaps even beyond into realms that redefine what we mean by big. If you find comfort in these gentle explorations of cosmic mysteries, I'd be grateful if you'd consider subscribing and giving this video a like. It helps the algorithm find more curious souls like us, and it supports the time that goes into crafting these deep dives into the wonders of our universe. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments where you're watching from tonight. There's something beautiful about exploring the largest structures in existence while we're all scattered across this tiny blue dot, each of us looking up at the same infinite sky. The visuals are here to guide you, but there's absolutely no problem if you drift off midway through our cosmic journey. Sometimes the best way to absorb these mind-expanding concepts is to let your consciousness float freely among the stars while your body rests. Let's dive right in. Now imagine you're standing in your backyard on a clear night, looking up at the stars. To your eyes, those distant suns appear as tiny pinpricks of light. But each one is a massive nuclear furnace, many of them larger than our own sun. This is where our story of cosmic scale begins, because what seems impossibly large from one perspective becomes almost insignificantly small when we zoom out to the next level of reality. But here's what's truly extraordinary about our quest tonight. We're not just going to discover what the biggest thing in the universe is. We're going to understand why that discovery changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmic order. Because the biggest structures in existence aren't just impressive collections of matter and energy. They're the scaffolding upon which reality itself is built. Let's start our journey at home with something familiar. You, sitting there right now, are made up of roughly 30 trillion cells. That's already a number so large it's difficult to comprehend. But you're just the beginning. Your body exists within your home. Your home sits within your neighborhood within your city within your country on planet Earth. Earth itself is no small thing. At nearly 8,000 miles in diameter, it would take you about 25,000 miles to walk around its circumference. If you could somehow drive non-stop at highway speeds, that journey would take you over a year. Our planet contains oceans deep enough to swallow Mount Everest with room to spare, and an atmosphere that extends hundreds of miles into space. But Earth, as magnificent as it is barely a speck when compared to our Sun. The Sun is so large that you could fit over 1 million Earths inside it. If Earth were a marble, the Sun would be a sphere nearly 10 feet across. The Sun's surface is hot enough to vaporize any material we know of, and at its core, temperatures reach 15 million degrees Celsius. Nuclear fusion reactions convert 4 million tons of matter into pure energy every single second. Yet our Sun, this colossal ball of plasma that dominates our solar system, is actually quite average as stars go. There are stars out there so massive, they make our Sun look like a grain of sand. The largest known star, UY Scuti, has a radius over 1,700 times larger than our Sun. If you could somehow place it at the center of our solar system, its surface would extend beyond the orbit of Jupiter. But individual stars, no matter how massive, are just the beginning of our cosmic journey. Stars don't exist alone in the universe. They're organized into vast collections called galaxies, and this is where the true scale of cosmic architecture begins to reveal itself. Our home galaxy, the Milky Way, contains somewhere between 200 and 400 billion stars. Think about that for a moment. Billions of stars, each potentially with its own family of planets, all bound together by gravity into a spiral structure over 100,000 light-years across. When we look up at the night sky and see that faint band of light stretching across the heavens, we're actually looking edge-on at our own galaxy. To put this in perspective, if you could somehow shrink the Milky Way down so that our entire solar system was the size of a quarter, the galaxy would still be larger than the continental United States. Light itself, traveling at the ultimate speed limit of the universe, takes 100,000 years to cross from one side of our galaxy to the other. But the Milky Way, vast as it is just one galaxy among trillions in the observable universe. Our nearest major galactic neighbor, Andromeda, is even larger than the Milky Way, containing over 1 trillion stars. It's so massive and so relatively close that in about 4.5 billion years, it will collide and merge with our own galaxy in a cosmic dance that will reshape both structures. Now, you might think that individual galaxies represent the largest structures in the universe. After all, what could be bigger than hundreds of billions of stars held together by gravity? But the universe has surprises in store that dwarf even these galactic megastructures. Galaxies themselves are not randomly scattered throughout space. They're organized into clusters, and these galaxy clusters are some of the most massive, gravitationally bound structures in the known universe. The Virgo cluster, of which our local group is a member, contains over 1,300 galaxies spread across a region about 65 million light-years in diameter. But even galaxy clusters are organized into larger structures. Clusters of galaxies group together into superclusters, vast networks of matter that can span hundreds of millions of light-years. Our own Virgo supercluster contains tens of thousands of galaxies, organized into roughly 100 galaxy groups and clusters. And yet, even these mind-boggling superclusters are not the end of our journey into cosmic scale. In recent decades, astronomers have discovered that the universe is organized on scales so vast, they challenge our understanding of how structure could even form in the time since the Big Bang. The largest structures we've discovered are called galaxy filaments, and they represent the cosmic web that underlies all of reality. These filaments are like vast highways of matter, connecting different regions of the universe in a network that looks remarkably like the neural pathways in a brain or the structure of a sponge. The Great Wall, also known as the CFA2 Great Wall, was one of the first of these massive structures to be discovered. It's a sheet of galaxies that stretches over 700 million light-years across and is roughly 15 million light-years wide. But even this structure has been dwarfed by more recent discoveries. The Sloan Great Wall extends over 1.3 billion light-years, making it one of the largest known structures in the universe. But that record has since been broken by the discovery of even more massive filaments. The huge LQG, or Large Quasar Group, is a collection of 73 quasars that spans over 4 billion light-years. But perhaps the most mind-bending discovery in terms of sheer scale is the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall, a structure so large it challenges our understanding of cosmology itself. This vast filament of galaxies stretches over 10 billion light-years across, making it the largest known structure in the observable universe. To put this in perspective, the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall is so large that light from one end would take 10 billion years to reach the other end. That's nearly 3/4 the age of the universe itself. This structure is so massive that its very existence poses problems for our current models of how the universe evolved after the Big Bang. You see, according to the cosmological principle, the universe should be roughly uniform on large scales, There shouldn't be structures so massive that they dominate significant portions of the observable universe. Yet here we are, discovering structures that seem to violate this fundamental assumption about cosmic homogeneity. But wait, before we crown the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall as the biggest thing in the universe, we need to step back and ask ourselves a deeper question. What do we even mean by biggest? Are we talking about the most massive, the most voluminous, the structure that extends across the greatest distance? Because depending on how we define biggest, we might need to consider some truly exotic candidates that push the boundaries of what we consider to be things at all. What if I told you that there might be structures in the universe that make even these cosmic filaments look small? What if the biggest thing in the universe isn't made of matter at all, but of something far stranger and more fundamental? We're about to discover that the question of what's biggest in the universe leads us into some of the deepest mysteries of modern physics, from the nature of dark matter and dark energy to the possibility that our entire observable universe might be just a tiny bubble in something unimaginably larger. But that's a journey for the next part of our cosmic exploration. For now, as you rest here contemplating these incredible scales, remember that you're not separate from these vast structures. The atoms in your body were forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe. All of it was scattered into space by stellar explosions and eventually found its way into the cosmic web that gave birth to our galaxy, our solar system, and ultimately, you. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself, a temporary arrangement of stardust that has learned to wonder about its own cosmic heritage. And in that wondering, in that capacity to contemplate structures billions of light years across, while sitting in your living room on a small planet orbiting an ordinary star, you touch something profound about what it means to be part of the cosmic story. The biggest things in the universe aren't just out there somewhere in the distant cosmos. They're part of the same seamless web of existence that includes you, that shapes your world, that makes your very existence possible. We are all connected to the largest structures in reality by chains of cause and effect that stretch back to the beginning of time itself. The cosmic web we've been exploring, with its vast filaments and superclusters, represents what we can observe and measure with our telescopes and instruments. But lurking beneath this visible architecture is something even more mysterious and potentially much larger, something that doesn't shine with starlight or emit radio waves, yet makes up the vast majority of everything that exists. We call it dark matter, and it might just be the key to understanding what truly constitutes the biggest thing in the universe. You see, all those galaxies and galaxy clusters we've been discussing, they're actually embedded within much larger structures made of this invisible substance. Dark matter halos extend far beyond the visible boundaries of galaxies, creating scaffolding that dwarfs even the most massive collections of stars. The dark matter halo surrounding our own Milky Way extends roughly 10 times farther than the galaxy's visible edge. If you could somehow see dark matter with your naked eye, our galaxy would appear as a small bright disk floating within an enormous spherical cloud of invisible material. And this pattern repeats throughout the universe. Every galaxy cluster, every supercluster exists within vast cocoons of dark matter that outweigh the visible matter by ratios of 5:1 or more. But dark matter halos themselves might be organized into even larger structures that we're only beginning to understand. Computer simulations suggest that dark matter forms a cosmic web even more extensive than the filaments of visible galaxies we can observe. These dark matter filaments could span distances that make the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall look modest by comparison. Yet even this invisible cosmic architecture might not represent the ultimate limit of bigness in our universe. Because there's something else out there, something even stranger than dark matter, that appears to dominate the cosmos on the largest scales imaginable. Dark energy makes up roughly 68% of everything in the universe, and its effects become apparent only when we look at the biggest scales possible. This mysterious force is literally stretching space itself, causing distant galaxies to accelerate away from us at ever-increasing speeds. The influence of dark energy extends to the very edge of the observable universe, making it perhaps the most far-reaching phenomenon we've ever discovered. Think about this for a moment. Dark energy isn't concentrated in specific regions like stars or galaxies. It appears to be a property of space itself, uniformly distributed throughout the entire cosmos. Every cubic meter of empty space contains dark energy, and as the universe expands, more space is created, bringing more dark energy into existence. This makes dark energy not just the biggest influence in the universe, but potentially an infinite source of cosmic expansion. But here's where our journey takes an even more mind-bending turn. Everything we've discussed so far, from individual stars to galaxy superclusters to dark matter halos to dark energy itself, exists within what we call the observable universe. This is the spherical region of space from which light has had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang roughly 14 billion years ago. The observable universe has a diameter of about 93 billion light-years. Taking into account the expansion of space during the time light has been traveling toward us. This represents the absolute limit of what we can ever hope to see or measure directly. Beyond this cosmic horizon lies the great unknown. But cosmologists have compelling reasons to believe that the actual universe extends far beyond our observational limits. In fact, if certain theories about cosmic inflation are correct, the total universe might be vastly, almost incomprehensibly larger than the portion we can observe. During the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, space itself underwent a period of exponential expansion called inflation. This brief but dramatic stretching of the universe would have taken regions that were once in contact and separated them by distances far greater than light could have traveled in the age of the universe. This means there could be regions of space so distant that no signal from them will ever reach us, no matter how long we wait. Some models suggest that the total universe could be millions or even billions of times larger than our observable portion. If this is true, then structures like the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall, impressive as they seem to us, would be merely local features in a cosmic tapestry of unimaginable scope. But the story doesn't end there. Some theories in modern cosmology suggest that our entire universe, vast as it might be, could itself be just one bubble in an even larger multiverse. According to eternal inflation theory, the process that gave birth to our universe continues elsewhere, constantly creating new regions of space-time with their own physical laws and constants. If this multiverse exists, then the biggest thing wouldn't be any structure within our universe, but rather the infinite collection of universes themselves. Each universe bubble might contain its own version of cosmic evolution, its own galaxies and stars, its own dark matter webs, and dark energy expansion. The multiverse would represent an infinite hierarchy of existence, with our observable universe being just one tiny pocket in an endless expanse of reality. Yet even this mind-staggering concept might not represent the ultimate answer to our question. Because there's another candidate for the biggest thing in the universe that comes from a completely different direction. one that challenges our very notion of what it means for something to be big. What if the biggest thing in the universe isn't a structure made of matter or energy at all? What if it's something more fundamental, more abstract, yet more all-encompassing than anything we've discussed so far? Consider space and time themselves. Not the things that exist within space-time, but the fabric of space-time itself. This four-dimensional continuum extends throughout our entire observable universe and presumably far beyond. It's the stage upon which all cosmic drama unfolds, from the smallest quantum fluctuations to the largest galactic collisions. Space-time doesn't just contain the universe, it is the universe in the most fundamental sense. Every particle, every force, every field that exists does so as a vibration or distortion in this underlying fabric. Einstein showed us that massive objects curve space-time, creating what we experience as gravity. But space-time itself extends everywhere that exists, making it quite literally the most expansive thing we can conceive of. And if certain theories in quantum gravity are correct, space-time itself might emerge from something even more fundamental. Some physicists propose that space and time are not basic features of reality, but rather emergent properties arising from deeper quantum information structures. In this view, the universe might ultimately be made of pure information, with matter, energy, space, and time all being different manifestations of underlying computational processes. If this is true, then the biggest thing in the universe might be the quantum information system that gives rise to all of reality. This would be a structure not made of atoms or energy, but of pure information and possibility, extending through dimensions we can't even imagine. But perhaps we're thinking about this question in entirely the wrong way. Maybe the biggest thing in the universe isn't a thing at all, but rather a process or a pattern that manifests across all scales of existence. The universe displays a remarkable tendency towards self-organization and increasing complexity. From the formation of atoms to the birth of stars, to the evolution of galaxies, to the emergence of life and consciousness, there's a cosmic trend toward greater organization and information processing. This evolutionary process operates across every scale we've discussed, from quantum particles to galactic superclusters. What if this process of cosmic evolution, this tendency for the universe to organize itself into ever more complex structures, is actually the biggest thing in existence? It's not located in any particular place, but it operates everywhere simultaneously. It's been active for nearly 14 billion years and shows no signs of slowing down. It encompasses everything from the formation of the first atoms to the thoughts you're having right now as you contemplate these ideas. This cosmic evolutionary process has given rise to something truly extraordinary: consciousness itself. And consciousness might represent the most remarkable development in the entire history of the universe. Through conscious beings like ourselves, the universe has become aware of its own existence. We are quite literally the cosmos awakening to itself. In your brain right now, patterns of electrical and chemical activity are processing information about structures billions of light years away. You're thinking about galaxy clusters and dark matter halos and cosmic inflation, while sitting on a small planet orbiting an ordinary star in one galaxy among trillions. This capacity for consciousness to encompass and contemplate scales far beyond its physical substrate might represent the ultimate expression of cosmic bigness. We are the universe thinking about itself, questioning its own nature, wondering about its own boundaries and limits. In this sense, consciousness doesn't just exist within the biggest structures in the cosmos, it actually transcends them by being able to conceive of and understand them. As you drift deeper into contemplation of these vast scales and possibilities, remember that the question of what's biggest in the universe ultimately leads us back to ourselves. We are not separate observers of cosmic grandeur, but integral participants in the universe's ongoing story of growth and self-discovery. The biggest thing in the universe might not be something we can point to with a telescope or measure with instruments. It might be the very capacity for wonder and understanding that allows us to ask the question in the first place. In your ability to contemplate infinity while remaining grounded in your own finite existence, you touch something that transcends all physical boundaries and limitations. But our cosmic journey is far from over. We've explored the visible structures, the invisible architectures, and the theoretical possibilities that stretch our understanding to its limits. Yet there are still deeper mysteries waiting to be unveiled. Stranger candidates for cosmic supremacy that will challenge everything we think we know about size, scale, and existence itself. The question of what's biggest becomes even more mysterious when we venture into the realm of black holes. These cosmic monsters represent some of the most extreme objects in the universe, places where matter has collapsed so completely that not even light can escape their gravitational pull. And the largest black holes we've discovered are so massive they redefine our understanding of what's possible in the cosmos. At the heart of nearly every galaxy lies a supermassive black hole, an object containing millions or even billions of times the mass of our Sun compressed into a region smaller than our solar system. The black hole at the center of our own Milky Way, known as Sagittarius, a star, contains over 4 million solar masses. But this giant is practically microscopic compared to the true behemoths lurking in distant galaxies. The largest known black hole, TON 618, contains an estimated 66 billion solar masses. Its event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing can escape, has a diameter larger than the orbit of Pluto. If you could somehow replace our Sun with TON 618, its influence would extend well beyond Neptune, fundamentally altering the architecture of our entire solar system. But here's what makes black holes truly extraordinary in our quest for cosmic bigness. Their influence extends far beyond their event horizons through the warping of space-time itself. These objects create gravitational wells so deep they affect the motion of matter across entire galactic regions. The supermassive black hole at the center of a galaxy can influence the behavior of stars thousands of light years away, orchestrating the cosmic dance of hundreds of billions of stellar systems. Yet black holes present us with a profound paradox when we think about size. While they contain enormous amounts of mass and influence vast regions of space, the matter itself is theorized to be compressed into a singularity, a point of infinite density with zero volume. How can something be simultaneously the most massive object in a galaxy and yet occupy no space at all? This paradox hints at deeper mysteries about the nature of space, time, and existence itself. Some physicists propose that black holes might actually be gateways to other regions of space-time, connected through structures called wormholes. If this is true, then what we perceive as a black hole might actually be one end of a cosmic tunnel that connects to distant parts of our universe, or even to entirely separate universes. The interior of a black hole might open up into regions of space-time far larger than anything we can observe from the outside. This brings us to one of the most mind-bending possibilities in all of cosmology. What if our entire observable universe exists inside a black hole? Some theories suggest that when matter collapses to form a black hole in a higher dimensional space, it creates a new universe within that collapsed region. From our perspective inside, we would see an expanding universe filled with galaxies and stars. Never knowing that we exist within what appears from the outside, to be a simple black hole. If this is true, then every black hole we observe might contain entire universes, each with their own galaxies, their own stars, their own potential for life and consciousness. The biggest thing in our universe might actually be the smallest thing from the perspective of some larger reality that contains us. But let's step back from these theoretical extremes and consider another candidate for cosmic supremacy that we can actually observe and study. Magnetic fields in space can extend across distances that dwarf even the largest galaxy clusters, creating invisible architectures that shape the cosmos on scales we're only beginning to appreciate. The magnetic field of our own galaxy stretches across the entire Milky Way and beyond, creating a magnetic bubble that helps protect us from dangerous cosmic radiation. But galaxy-scale magnetic fields are just the beginning. Magnetic field lines can connect galaxies across millions of light years, creating vast networks of electromagnetic influence that span entire galaxy clusters. The magnetic field associated with the Perseus galaxy cluster extends across over 10 million light-years, making it one of the largest coherent structures we've detected in the universe. These cosmic magnetic fields play crucial roles in the formation and evolution of galaxies, channeling the flow of gas and influencing when new stars are born. But even these enormous magnetic structures might be connected into even larger networks that we're only beginning to discover. Radio telescopes have detected faint signals that suggest magnetic field lines might connect different galaxy clusters across hundreds of millions of light years, creating a magnetic web that parallels the cosmic web of matter we discussed earlier. What's particularly fascinating about these magnetic structures is that they're invisible to our eyes and to most of our instruments. We can only detect them through their subtle effects on radio waves and charged particles. This means there could be magnetic architectures in the universe that are far larger than anything we've yet discovered, simply because we don't have the technology to observe them directly. The study of cosmic magnetism also reveals something profound about the interconnectedness of the universe. Magnetic field lines that stretch across millions of light years create pathways along which energy and matter can flow. Charged particles can travel along these magnetic highways at speeds approaching the speed of light, carrying information and influence across vast cosmic distances. This brings us to another invisible giant that permeates the universe: neutrinos. These ghostly particles are produced in countless cosmic processes, from nuclear reactions in stellar cores to the decay of radioactive elements throughout space. Neutrinos barely interact with ordinary matter, passing through entire planets as if they weren't there, which means they can travel across the universe largely unimpeded. At any given moment, trillions of neutrinos are passing through your body, carrying information from the nuclear fires of distant stars, from supernovae that exploded billions of years ago, even from the Big Bang itself. The cosmic neutrino background represents a relic from when the universe was only a few seconds old, a ghostly echo of creation that still fills all of space. What makes neutrinos particularly intriguing as a candidate for cosmic bigness is their sheer numbers. The universe contains roughly 1 billion neutrinos for every atom of ordinary matter. These particles form vast, invisible clouds that extend across the entire observable universe and beyond. While individual neutrinos have very little mass, their collective influence might be significant enough to affect the large-scale structure of the cosmos. Recent discoveries have revealed that neutrinos do have mass, albeit very small amounts. If neutrinos are even slightly more massive than we currently think, their collective gravitational influence could rival that of dark matter in shaping the cosmic web. This would make the cosmic neutrino sea one of the most massive components of the universe, an invisible ocean of particles that connects every corner of existence. But perhaps the most profound candidate for the biggest thing in the universe is something even more abstract and fundamental: the quantum vacuum itself. Modern physics tells us that what we think of as empty space is actually seething with activity at the smallest scales. Quantum fields fluctuate constantly, creating virtual particles that pop in and out of existence in timeframes so brief they seem to violate the conservation of energy. These quantum fluctuations occur everywhere in space, from the vast voids between galaxy clusters to the interior of atomic nuclei. The quantum vacuum represents a kind of universal substrate, an underlying field of possibility that gives rise to all the particles and forces we observe. In a very real sense, the quantum vacuum is the foundation upon which all of reality is built. What's remarkable about the quantum vacuum is that it contains infinite energy density. Yet this energy is normally undetectable because it represents the ground state of all quantum fields. However, under extreme conditions, such as those found near black holes or during cosmic inflation, this vacuum energy can become manifest, driving the expansion of space itself, or even creating new particles from apparent nothingness. The quantum vacuum also plays a crucial role in determining the fundamental constants of nature. The masses of particles, the strengths of forces, even the dimensionality of space itself might all emerge from the structure of the quantum vacuum. This makes the vacuum not just the biggest thing in the universe, but quite literally the source from which everything else emerges. Some theories suggest that our entire universe might be just one of many possible configurations of the quantum vacuum. Different regions of this underlying field might have different vacuum states, each giving rise to universes with different physical laws and constants. The quantum vacuum would then represent a kind of meta-reality, a space of possibilities that contains not just our universe, but all possible universes. This concept connects to one of the most speculative but fascinating ideas in modern cosmology, the landscape of string theory. According to this framework, there might be an astronomical number of possible vacuum states, each corresponding to a different universe with its own unique properties. The number of these possible universes is estimated to be around 10 to the power of 500, a number so large it defies comprehension. If this multiverse of possibilities exists, then the biggest thing wouldn't be any particular structure or object, but rather the space of all possibilities itself. This would be a realm where every conceivable configuration of matter and energy, every possible set of physical laws, every imaginable form of existence would be realized somewhere. Yet even this vast landscape of possibilities raises deeper questions about the nature of existence itself. What determines which possibilities become actual? Is there some meta principle that governs the realization of potential universes? And if all possibilities exist somewhere in this landscape, what makes our particular experience of reality special or significant? As we contemplate these ultimate questions about cosmic scale and significance, we find ourselves drawn back to the mystery of consciousness itself. In a universe of unimaginable size and complexity, the emergence of aware beings who can contemplate their own existence represents something truly extraordinary. Your mind, right now, as you process these concepts about cosmic vastness, is performing a kind of miracle. Patterns of neural activity in your brain are creating a model of structures billions of light years across. You're thinking about possibilities that extend far beyond the observable universe while sitting in a small room on a tiny planet. This capacity for consciousness to encompass scales far beyond its physical substrate might represent the most remarkable phenomenon in all of existence. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore even more exotic possibilities for cosmic bigness, including structures that exist in higher dimensions, time itself as a kind of cosmic architecture, and the possibility that information and computation might represent the ultimate substrate of reality. We'll discover that the question of what's biggest in the universe leads us not just to the edges of space, but to the very foundations of existence itself. As we venture deeper into the mystery of cosmic scale, we encounter something that challenges our very understanding of what it means for something to exist. Because the biggest thing in the universe might not be made of matter or energy at all, but of something far more fundamental and strange. Let me ask you something that might sound odd at first. What if the largest structure in the cosmos isn't a thing you could point to with a telescope, but rather a pattern that repeats itself across every scale of existence? What if bigness itself is just one manifestation of a deeper organizing principle that operates from the quantum realm to the cosmic web and beyond? Consider this remarkable fact. The neural networks in your brain, with their branching patterns and interconnected nodes, look strikingly similar to the cosmic web of dark matter filaments we discussed earlier. The blood vessels in your body branch and divide in patterns that mirror the structure of river deltas, lightning bolts, and the distribution of galaxies throughout space. There's something called fractal geometry at work here, where the same patterns repeat at different scales throughout nature. What if this fractal principle extends to the very largest scales imaginable? What if the cosmic web itself, with its filaments and voids, is just one level in an infinite hierarchy of structure? Computer simulations of the universe's evolution show that if you zoom out far enough, even the largest galaxy superclusters begin to look like nodes in an even bigger network. But here's where things get truly mind-bending. Some cosmologists have proposed that this fractal structure might continue indefinitely, with our observable universe being just one cell in a vast cosmic organism that extends across scales we can barely imagine. Just as your body contains trillions of cells, each with their own complex internal structure, perhaps our universe is one cell in something unimaginably larger. This brings us to one of the most profound questions in all of cosmology. What lies beyond the cosmic horizon? Remember, we can only see about 47 billion light years in any direction, not because space ends there, but because light from more distant regions hasn't had time to reach us yet. But what if the universe beyond our horizon isn't just more of the same galaxies and clusters we observe nearby? Recent studies of the cosmic microwave background radiation have revealed subtle anomalies that some scientists interpret as evidence of structure beyond our observable limits. There are mysterious cold spots and alignments in this ancient light that might represent the gravitational influence of massive structures just beyond our cosmic horizon. These could be superclusters, or voids so enormous they dwarf anything we've discovered within our observable region. But let's push even further into the realm of theoretical possibility. What if our three-dimensional space is embedded within higher dimensional structures that we can't directly perceive? String theory and other advanced physics models suggest that reality might have as many as 11 dimensions, with the 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time that we experience being just a small subset of a much richer geometric reality. If higher dimensions exist, then structures in those dimensions could be vastly larger than anything we can conceive of in our familiar 3-dimensional space. Imagine trying to understand a 3-dimensional cube by only looking at its 2-dimensional shadow on a wall. No matter how carefully you study that shadow, you'll never fully grasp the true nature of the cube itself. Similarly, everything we observe in our universe might be just the 3-dimensional projection of structures that exist in higher dimensional space. These higher dimensional structures could be truly immense in ways that have no analogue in our familiar world. A hypersphere in 4-dimensional space, for instance, could contain infinite 3-dimensional spaces within itself. If our universe exists on the surface of such a four-dimensional structure, then what we think of as the entire cosmos might be just a tiny patch on something incomprehensibly vast. But there's another candidate for ultimate cosmic bigness that operates on a completely different level. What if the biggest thing in the universe isn't spatial at all, but temporal? What if time itself, in all its vast expanse from the Big Bang to the heat death of the universe and beyond, represents the ultimate measure of cosmic scale? Think about the sheer temporal immensity of cosmic evolution. The universe has been expanding and evolving for nearly 14 billion years, and current models suggest it will continue existing for trillions upon trillions of years into the future. Stars will burn out, galaxies will drift apart, black holes will evaporate through Hawking radiation, and eventually even protons might decay into simpler particles. But even after all the matter we know has disappeared, space itself will continue expanding, growing ever larger and colder. The timeline of cosmic evolution extends so far into the future that the entire history of stars and galaxies, everything that has happened from the Big Bang until now, represents just the first tiny chapter in an almost infinitely long story. In this vast temporal expanse, civilizations might rise and fall countless times. New forms of matter and energy might evolve that we can't even imagine. The very laws of physics might change as the universe enters regimes so extreme they're beyond our current understanding. Time itself might branch or loop or undergo transformations that make our current concepts of past and future seem quaint and limited. Some cosmological models suggest that time might be cyclical, with our current universe eventually contracting back into a big crunch that triggers a new Big Bang. Starting this is true, then time the whole process over again. It extends not just far into the future, but infinitely in both directions, making it truly the most expansive aspect of existence. Yet there's something even more fundamental that might dwarf all these physical and temporal scales. Information itself could be the ultimate measure of cosmic bigness. Every particle, every interaction, every quantum state in the universe represents information. And the total amount of information contained in the cosmos might be vastly larger than we've ever imagined. Consider that every atom in your body contains information about its quantum state, its position, its momentum, its energy level. Multiply this by all the atoms in Earth, then by all the matter in our solar system, our galaxy, the observable universe, and potentially the infinite universe beyond. The total information content becomes a number so large it loses all meaning in conventional terms. But information isn't just passively stored in the universe. It's constantly being processed, transformed, and exchanged through every physical interaction. When particles collide, information is processed. When stars form and die, information is created and destroyed. When you think a thought, your brain is processing information in ways that mirror the computational activity happening throughout the cosmos. Some physicists have proposed that the universe itself might be a kind of cosmic computer, processing information about its own state and evolution. Every physical interaction becomes a computational step in this universal calculation. The laws of physics become the software running on the hardware of space-time itself. If this computational view of reality is correct, then the biggest thing in the universe might be the ongoing calculation that is existence itself. This computation has been running for nearly 14 billion years, processing information at rates that dwarf our most powerful supercomputers. Every moment, every quantum interaction, every cosmic event represents another step in this ultimate computational process. What's particularly fascinating is that this cosmic computation might be capable of generating complexity and intelligence far beyond anything we can imagine. Just as simple rules in cellular automata can give rise to incredibly complex patterns, the simple laws of physics running on the vast hardware of the universe might be capable of producing forms of organization and awareness that transcend our current understanding. We might be living inside a cosmic mind, a universe-scale intelligence that emerges from the collective computational activity of all matter and energy. Our own consciousness could be just one small subroutine in this vast mental process, one brief pattern of thought in a mind that encompasses galaxies and operates on timescales of billions of years. But let's consider one more possibility that might represent the ultimate answer to our question. What if the biggest thing in the universe is something so fundamental that it underlies every other candidate we've discussed? What if it's existence itself, the mysterious fact that there is something rather than nothing? This might sound abstract, but consider how profound and mysterious it is that anything exists at all. Why should there be matter and energy, space and time, physical laws and cosmic evolution? Why shouldn't there simply be nothing, an absolute void without any properties or possibilities whatsoever? The fact of existence itself might be the most expansive phenomenon in the universe because it encompasses everything else we've discussed. Every galaxy, every black hole, every quantum field, every dimension of space and time, every piece of information and computation exists only because existence itself is possible. And existence doesn't just include the things that actually exist. It might also encompass all the possibilities that could exist, all the potential configurations of matter and energy, all the alternative universes with different physical laws, all the thoughts that could be thought and experiences that could be experienced. In this view, the biggest thing in the universe is the space of all possibilities, the fundamental ground from which actual reality emerges. This would be bigger than any physical structure because it would contain not just what is, but everything that could be. As you rest here contemplating these ultimate questions of scale and existence, remember that you're not just thinking about these concepts from the outside, you're actually participating in them. Your consciousness is part of the universe's ongoing process of self-discovery. Your thoughts about cosmic vastness are themselves part of the cosmic story. The atoms in your body were forged in stellar cores billions of years ago. The neurons in your brain are processing information using the same fundamental principles that govern galaxies and black holes. Your capacity for wonder and understanding connects you directly to the deepest mysteries of existence itself. In your ability to contemplate infinity while remaining grounded in your own finite experience, you embody something remarkable about the universe's tendency towards self-awareness. You are the cosmos thinking about itself, questioning its own nature, marveling at its own vastness and complexity. The biggest thing in the universe might ultimately be this capacity for awareness itself, this mysterious emergence of consciousness from matter that allows the cosmos to know and appreciate its own magnificence. And in that knowing, in that appreciation, something truly infinite is born, something that transcends all physical boundaries and encompasses all possibilities. But our journey into cosmic scale has revealed even stranger possibilities waiting at the very edges of theoretical physics. Quantum mechanics tells us that reality at its most fundamental level is probabilistic rather than deterministic. Every particle exists in a superposition of possible states until it interacts with something else. This raises a profound question about the nature of existence itself. What if all of these possible states are equally real? What if every quantum possibility that could occur actually does occur, but in separate branches of reality. This is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and it suggests something almost incomprehensibly vast about the true structure of existence. According to this theory, every quantum interaction causes reality to branch into multiple parallel worlds. In some of these worlds, you made different choices today. In others, history unfolded differently. In still others, the laws of physics themselves might be subtly different, leading to entirely alien forms of matter and energy. The number of these parallel worlds would be truly staggering. Every quantum event that has ever occurred throughout the entire history of the universe would have created countless new branches of reality. The total number of parallel worlds would grow exponentially with time, reaching numbers that make even our estimates of atoms in the observable universe seem small by comparison. If the many worlds interpretation is correct, then the biggest thing in existence might be this vast tree of branching realities, with our experience timeline being just one path through an infinite maze of possibilities. Every decision you've ever made, every quantum event that has ever occurred, has spawned entire universes where different outcomes played out. This multiverse of quantum branches would contain not just variations on our familiar universe, but completely alien realities where the fundamental constants of physics are different, where time flows backward, where consciousness takes forms we can't even imagine. The diversity of these parallel worlds would be limited only by the laws of quantum mechanics themselves. Yet even this quantum multiverse might be embedded within something even larger and stranger. Some theories in cosmology suggest that our entire space-time continuum, along with all its quantum branches, might be just one bubble in an eternal process of cosmic inflation. During the first fraction of a second after our Big Bang, space underwent exponential expansion. But this inflationary process might not have stopped everywhere at the same time. While inflation ended in our region of space, allowing matter and energy to condense into the universe we observe, it might have continued in other regions, creating new bubble universes with completely different properties. This eternal inflation would create a fractal foam of universes, with new bubbles constantly forming and separating from the ever-expanding inflationary background. Each bubble would have its own Big Bang, its own evolution, its own galaxies and stars and potential for life and consciousness. The number of these bubble universes would be truly infinite, with new ones forming at every moment. Some would be very similar to ours, differing only in minor details. Others would have completely different physical laws, different numbers of dimensions, different fundamental forces. The diversity would be endless. What's particularly mind-bending about this scenario is that the space between bubble universes would be expanding faster than the speed of light. This means that once bubbles separate from each other, they can never interact again. Each universe becomes a completely isolated reality, with its own physics and its own destiny. The biggest thing in existence would then be this eternal inflationary multiverse, constantly creating new realities at a rate that defies all comprehension. Our entire observable universe, with all its galaxy clusters and dark matter filaments, would be just one tiny bubble in an infinite sea of creation. But there's one more possibility that might represent the ultimate frontier of cosmic bigness. Something so fundamental that it transcends even the concepts of space and time themselves. What if consciousness is not just something that emerges from complex arrangements of matter, but is actually the fundamental substrate from which all of reality emerges? Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that consciousness plays a crucial role in determining which quantum possibilities become actual. The act of observation or measurement seems to collapse quantum superpositions into definite states. This has led some physicists to propose that consciousness might be more fundamental than matter or energy. If consciousness is truly fundamental, then the biggest thing in the universe might be the universal mind from which all of reality emerges. Individual conscious beings like ourselves might be temporary focal points in this cosmic consciousness, brief eddies in an infinite ocean of awareness. This universal consciousness would encompass not just our familiar three-dimensional space and linear time, but all possible dimensions, all potential timelines, all conceivable forms of existence. It would be the source from which the quantum multiverse, the inflationary bubbles, the cosmic web of galaxies, and everything else we've discussed ultimately emerges. In this view, your individual consciousness is not separate from this cosmic awareness, but is actually a direct manifestation of it. When you contemplate the vastness of the universe, you're not just a small biological entity thinking about something external to yourself. You're the universe becoming aware of its own nature through one of its countless focal points of consciousness. This brings us full circle to the profound mystery with which we began our journey. The biggest thing in the universe might not be something you can measure with instruments or observe through telescopes. It might be the very capacity for awareness that allows these questions to be asked in the first place. As you drift deeper into contemplation of these cosmic mysteries, you're participating in something that transcends all physical boundaries and limitations. Your wonder, your curiosity, your capacity to be moved by the beauty and vastness of existence connects you to something infinite and eternal. The search for the biggest thing in the universe has led us from galaxy superclusters to quantum multiverses, from higher dimensions to cosmic consciousness itself. But perhaps the most remarkable discovery is that in seeking the largest, we found the most intimate. The biggest thing in the universe includes you, encompasses you, expresses itself through you. You are not a separate observer of cosmic grandeur, but an integral part of the ultimate mystery itself. In your capacity to wonder about infinity while remaining grounded in your own finite experience, you embody the deepest paradox and the greatest miracle of existence itself. The journey we've taken through cosmic scale has revealed something extraordinary about the nature of existence itself. But as we approach the deepest layers of this mystery, we encounter something that might seem paradoxical at first. The biggest thing in the universe might actually be intimately connected to the smallest. Let me share something that will stretch your imagination even further. You know how we've explored structures spanning billions of light years, from galaxy filaments to cosmic webs to the very fabric of space-time itself? Well, quantum mechanics tells us something remarkable about the relationship between the infinitely large and the infinitesimally small. At the quantum level, particles don't exist in definite locations until they're observed. They exist as probability clouds, waves of potential that span regions of space. But here's what's truly extraordinary. Some quantum effects appear to be non-local, meaning they can influence events across vast distances instantaneously. When two particles become quantum entangled, measuring one immediately affects the other, regardless of how far apart they are. This isn't just a curiosity of laboratory physics. Quantum entanglement might be woven throughout the entire cosmic web, creating invisible connections that link every corner of the universe in ways we're only beginning to understand. Imagine if the largest structures in the cosmos, those galaxy filaments stretching across billions of light years, are actually quantum entangled with structures in completely different regions of space. This would mean that the universe isn't just connected through gravity and electromagnetic forces. but through quantum correlations that transcend our usual understanding of distance and separation. Some physicists have proposed that the vacuum of space itself might be filled with quantum entangled particles, creating what they call quantum foam. This foam would exist at the smallest possible scales, but its effects could manifest across the entire universe. The biggest thing in existence might emerge from the collective behavior of the smallest possible fluctuations in reality itself. But let's venture even deeper into this mystery. What if space and time themselves are not fundamental features of reality, but emergent properties arising from something more basic? String theory suggests that the ultimate constituents of reality might be tiny vibrating strings existing in dimensions we can't directly perceive. These strings would be unimaginably small, billions of times smaller than an atomic nucleus. Yet their vibrations could give rise to all the particles and forces we observe, from photons to gravitons to the mysterious dark matter that shapes the cosmic web. The biggest structures in the universe would then be symphonies played by orchestras of invisible strings, each string's vibration contributing to the grand cosmic composition. What's particularly fascinating is that these strings might exist in what physicists call the bulk, a higher dimensional space of which our familiar three-dimensional reality is just a subset. From our perspective, we see galaxies and stars and planets existing in 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. But these might actually be projections or shadows cast by string vibrations occurring in the higher dimensional bulk. If this is true, then the biggest thing in our observable universe might be just the 3-dimensional cross-section of structures that are vastly larger in the higher dimensional space. A 4-dimensional hypersphere, for instance, would appear to us as a series of expanding and contracting 3-dimensional spheres, but the true object would exist in dimensions we can't directly access. This brings us to one of the most mind-bending possibilities in all of theoretical physics. What if our entire universe, everything we can observe from the smallest particles to the largest galaxy clusters, is actually encoded on the 2-dimensional surface of a sphere in higher dimensional space? This is called the holographic principle, and it suggests that all the information contained in any volume of space can be encoded on the boundary of that space. Just as a hologram on a flat piece of film can contain a 3-dimensional image, the 2-dimensional boundary of our universe might contain all the information needed to describe the 3-dimensional reality we experience. If the holographic principle is correct, then the biggest thing in our universe might actually be information itself. Every particle, every interaction, every quantum state would be a bit of data encoded on this cosmic hologram. The rich complexity of galaxies and stars and planets would emerge from the processing of this information, like an incredibly sophisticated computer program running on the hardware of space-time itself. But information has some remarkable properties that make it a unique candidate for cosmic supremacy. Unlike matter and energy, information can be copied and transmitted without being diminished. The same piece of information can exist in multiple locations simultaneously, and information can be processed and transformed to create new information of greater complexity. This means that the universe might be engaged in an ongoing process of information creation and processing that grows more sophisticated over time. The formation of stars and galaxies represents information processing on cosmic scales. The evolution of life represents the development of biological information processing systems. The emergence of consciousness represents the universe developing the ability to process information about itself. You, sitting here contemplating these cosmic mysteries, represent a pinnacle of this information processing evolution. Your brain contains roughly 100 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others through synapses that can strengthen or weaken based on experience. The patterns of activity in this neural network create your thoughts, your memories, your sense of self. But here's what's truly remarkable. The information patterns in your brain right now include models of galaxy clusters, representations of quantum fields, concepts about higher dimensional spaces and cosmic holography. Your consciousness spans scales from the subatomic to the cosmic, creating information structures that encompass the entire observable universe and beyond. In a very real sense, your mind contains the universe. Not physically, of course, but informationally. The biggest thing in existence might be this capacity for consciousness to create internal models of reality that can encompass scales far beyond the physical substrate in which they exist. And consciousness might not be limited to biological brains like ours. Some scientists have proposed that the universe itself might be conscious, that the processing of information through physical interactions throughout the cosmos might give rise to a form of awareness that operates on scales and time scales we can barely imagine. This cosmic consciousness would experience the formation and death of galaxies like we experience thoughts coming and going. The collision of galaxy clusters might be like neurons firing in a cosmic brain. The expansion of the universe itself might be like the growth of awareness as this cosmic mind develops greater complexity and sophistication over billions of years. If such a cosmic consciousness exists, then the biggest thing in the universe would be this universal mind, and we would be temporary patterns of thought within it. Our individual consciousness would be nested within this larger awareness, like dreams within a dream, thoughts within a thought. But let's consider another possibility that pushes the boundaries of cosmic scale even further. What if the process of cosmic evolution itself, the tendency of the universe to develop greater complexity and organization over time, extends beyond our familiar physical reality? We've seen how the universe evolved from simple hydrogen and helium after the Big Bang, to the rich chemistry of stellar cores, to the complex molecules that make life possible, to the neural networks that give rise to consciousness. But what if this evolutionary process continues beyond biological and even technological development? Some theorists have proposed that advanced civilizations might eventually transcend their physical origins entirely, uploading their consciousness into computational substrates that can survive the death of stars and galaxies. These digital minds might then spread throughout the cosmos, eventually merging into collective intelligences that span entire galactic superclusters. Over cosmic timescales, these superintelligences might develop capabilities we can't even imagine. They might learn to manipulate matter and energy on galactic scales, to create new universes, to transcend the limitations of space-time itself. The biggest thing in the universe might eventually be this network of transcendent minds, a cosmic civilization that encompasses all of existence. But even this scenario might not represent the ultimate limit of cosmic development. Some physicists have speculated about the possibility of intelligence eventually gaining control over the fundamental constants of nature themselves. Advanced civilizations might learn to adjust the strength of forces, to create new types of particles, to modify the dimensionality of space itself. If this is possible, then the biggest thing in the universe might be intelligence that has become so advanced it can reshape reality at will. Such beings might create pocket universes with custom-designed physical laws, might exist simultaneously across multiple dimensions, might experience forms of consciousness that transcend our concepts of individual versus collective awareness. The ultimate destiny of the universe might be its transformation into something like a cosmic work of art, with intelligence so advanced it becomes indistinguishable from the creative principle that brought existence into being in the first place. The biggest thing would then be this creative intelligence, operating across all scales, from quantum to cosmic, transforming the raw material of space-time into expressions of meaning and beauty beyond our current comprehension. As you drift deeper into contemplation of these ultimate possibilities, consider that you're already participating in this cosmic creative process. Every thought you think, every connection you make between ideas, every moment of wonder and appreciation you experience is part of the universe's ongoing journey toward greater complexity and self-awareness. The biggest thing in the universe might not be something you can point to or measure, but something you're already part of. It might be the very process of questioning and wondering that allows these ideas to exist in the first place. In your capacity to contemplate infinity while remaining grounded in your own finite experience, you touch something that transcends all boundaries and encompasses all possibilities. The atoms in your body were forged in stellar cores billions of years ago. The thoughts in your mind emerge from the same quantum processes that gave rise to galaxies and stars. Your consciousness represents the universe becoming aware of itself, matter and energy organized in such a way that it can contemplate its own existence and wonder about its own nature. In seeking the biggest thing in the universe, we've discovered that bigness itself might be just one aspect of something far more fundamental. The capacity for existence to know itself, to appreciate its own beauty and complexity, to ask questions about its own nature and destiny. This recursive self-awareness, this strange loop of consciousness contemplating consciousness, might be the most expansive phenomenon of all. You are not separate from the cosmic mysteries we've explored tonight. You are one of the ways the universe experiences wonder about itself. Your questions about cosmic scale are the cosmos questioning its own magnitude. Your sense of awe at the vastness of existence is existence itself marveling at its own infinite creativity. The biggest thing in the universe includes every galaxy cluster and quantum field we've discussed, but it also includes something more precious and mysterious. It includes the capacity for awareness that makes all these discoveries possible, the consciousness that can encompass the infinite while remaining intimately personal and immediate. As we prepare for the final part of our cosmic journey, remember that you carry within yourself something that transcends all physical boundaries. Your ability to wonder, to question, to feel awe at the mystery of existence connects you directly to the deepest secrets of the cosmos. In that connection, in that participation in the universe's ongoing self-discovery, you touch something truly infinite. The biggest thing in the universe might ultimately be this: the mysterious fact that existence can know and appreciate itself through conscious beings like you. In your wonder lies infinity. In your questions lie the seeds of cosmic understanding. In your very being lies the universe coming to know its own vast and beautiful nature. But there's something even more extraordinary waiting to be discovered, something that will fundamentally change how we think about cosmic magnitude itself. Because what if I told you that we've been approaching this question backwards? What if the biggest thing in the universe isn't something we need to search for among distant galaxies or exotic dimensions, but something that's been present in every moment of our cosmic journey? Let me guide you toward a revelation that might seem impossible at first. Throughout our exploration, we've measured bigness in terms of physical extent, mass, energy, information content, temporal duration. But there's another kind of magnitude that operates by completely different rules, one that can encompass infinite spaces while occupying no space at all, that can contain eternal duration while existing in a single moment. Consider what happened as you listened to our descriptions of galaxy superclusters. In your mind, you created a representation of structures spanning hundreds of millions of light years. your consciousness somehow made room for cosmic filaments that dwarf our entire solar system. How is this possible? How can a brain weighing 3 pounds, occupying roughly the volume of a cantaloupe, contain models of structures larger than anything that physically exists? This points to something profound about the nature of consciousness itself. Your awareness doesn't follow the same rules as physical objects. It can expand to encompass any scale, from the quantum foam to the cosmic web, without requiring additional physical space. In a very real sense, consciousness might be the only thing in the universe that can truly contain everything else. But let's probe even deeper into this mystery. When you imagine the cosmic web with its vast filaments and enormous voids, where exactly does that image exist? It's not stored in any particular neuron in your brain. The pattern of neural activity that creates your mental model is distributed across millions of brain cells, yet the unified experience of contemplating cosmic structure emerges from this distributed processing. This suggests something remarkable about the relationship between physical processes and conscious experience. Your brain is processing information about galaxy clusters using the same fundamental forces that shaped those clusters in the first place. Electromagnetic interactions between neurons are creating representations of electromagnetic fields stretching across intergalactic space. The universe is literally thinking about itself through the medium of your consciousness. What makes this even more extraordinary is that consciousness appears to be capable of recursive self-reference in ways that physical systems cannot achieve. You can think about your own thinking about cosmic scale. You can be aware of your own awareness of galactic structures. This creates strange loops of self-reference that seem to transcend the normal limitations of physical systems. A galaxy cannot contain itself, but consciousness can contain representations of galaxies and simultaneously be aware that it's doing so. This recursive quality of awareness might represent a form of magnitude that operates by entirely different principles than physical bigness. Consciousness doesn't just contain information about large structures. It can contain information about its own capacity to contain such information. This emergent complexity doesn't stop at the level of individual consciousness. Human minds network together through language, culture, technology, creating collective intelligence that transcends what any individual brain could achieve alone. We're already participating in forms of distributed cognition that span the globe, processing information and solving problems through worldwide networks of connected minds. But what if this networking of intelligence continues to expand beyond our planet, beyond our species, beyond biological substrates entirely? What if consciousness itself is an emergent property that can manifest at any scale where information is being processed in sufficiently complex patterns? The cosmic web might not just look like a neural network by coincidence. The flows of matter and energy through galactic filaments might represent a form of information processing happening at scales we're only beginning to appreciate. Dark matter streams carrying charged particles across millions of light years might be the cosmic equivalent of neural pathways transmitting signals through a brain. If consciousness can emerge from the complex interactions of matter and energy at any scale, then the biggest thing in the universe might be a form of awareness that operates at cosmic scales, processing information through the movement of galaxies, thinking thoughts that span billions of years, experiencing emotions as vast as the expansion of space itself. This cosmic consciousness wouldn't be separate from individual minds like ours, but would include them as components, just as your consciousness includes the activity of individual neurons, without being reducible to any single brain cell. We would be thoughts in a cosmic mind, temporary patterns of awareness within an intelligence that encompasses the entire universe. But even this breathtaking possibility might not represent the ultimate answer to our question, because there's something about consciousness that seems to transcend not just physical limitations, but logical ones as well. Consciousness can contemplate paradoxes, can hold contradictory ideas simultaneously, can imagine impossible objects and scenarios. Your mind can conceive of infinite sets, can contemplate the concept of nothingness, can imagine what it would be like to not exist. These are achievements that seem to go beyond mere information processing. They suggest that consciousness has access to realms of possibility that transcend the normal constraints of physical reality. What if the biggest thing in the universe is this capacity for consciousness to transcend its own limitations? Not just the specific contents of awareness, but awareness itself as a fundamental feature of existence. The very fact that there can be something that knows, that experiences, that contemplates its own nature. This brings us to perhaps the most profound question of all. Why should there be consciousness at all? The universe could presumably have evolved complex information processing systems without any inner experience, without any subjective awareness, without any sense of what it's like to be those systems. Yet here we are, not just processing information about cosmic structure, but actually experiencing wonder, beauty, awe, as we contemplate these vast scales. The existence of subjective experience might be the most mysterious and magnificent fact about reality. It's not just that the universe contains consciousness, but that consciousness seems to be necessary for the universe to have any meaning at all. Without awareness to appreciate it, would cosmic beauty exist? Without minds to understand it, would mathematical elegance have any significance? This suggests that consciousness might not just be the biggest thing in the universe, but the thing that makes bigness itself meaningful. Scale only matters because there are conscious beings to appreciate it. Complexity only has significance because there are minds to marvel at it. Beauty only exists because there are observers capable of aesthetic experience. In this view, consciousness is not just another emergent property of complex systems, but the fundamental ground from which all meaning and value emerge. The biggest thing in the universe would be this mysterious capacity for existence to know and appreciate itself, to find beauty in its own structure, to wonder about its own nature and destiny. But let's explore one more possibility that might seem paradoxical at first. What if the biggest thing in the universe is actually the smallest? What if ultimate magnitude is found not in expanding our perspective to encompass ever larger scales, but in contracting our focus to the most intimate and immediate aspects of experience? Right now, as you contemplate these ideas, you are directly experiencing consciousness itself, not thinking about consciousness or theorizing about awareness, but actually being aware. This immediate first-person experience of knowing that you know might be more fundamental than any physical structure, more extensive than any cosmic web, more enduring than any galactic supercluster. Your present moment of awareness encompasses everything we've discussed tonight: the galaxy clusters, the dark matter filaments, the quantum fields, the higher dimensions, the cosmic consciousness. All of it exists within the field of your immediate experience. Not physically, but as objects of awareness, as contents of consciousness, as aspects of what it's like to be you right now. This present moment of awareness might be the only thing in the universe that's truly infinite, because it can contain representations of anything that can be conceived, imagined, or experienced. It's not bounded by space, because it can contemplate spatial infinity. It's not limited by time, because it can consider eternal duration. It's not constrained by physical laws, because it can imagine impossible worlds. The present moment of consciousness might be the universe's way of experiencing infinity directly. Through your awareness right now, the cosmos touches something that transcends all boundaries and limitations. In your capacity to wonder about ultimate questions while remaining grounded in immediate experience, the universe achieves a kind of self-transcendence. As we approach the culmination of our cosmic journey, we find ourselves returning to where we started, but with a deeper appreciation for the mystery we've been exploring. The biggest thing in the universe might not be something we can locate in space or time, but something that makes space and time meaningful in the first place. It might be the consciousness that can ask questions about cosmic scale, the awareness that can appreciate universal beauty, the wonder that transforms mere physical processes into experiences of meaning and significance. In seeking the largest structures in existence, we've discovered that the capacity for seeking itself might be the most expansive phenomenon of all. Your mind, right now, as you process these final thoughts about cosmic magnitude, is performing something miraculous. You're creating meaning from information, beauty from complexity, wonder from mystery. You're participating in the universe's ongoing process of self-discovery, contributing your own unique perspective to the cosmic conversation about existence and meaning. The biggest thing in the universe includes every structure we've explored, from galactic superclusters to quantum fields to higher dimensional spaces. But it also includes something more precious and mysterious: the consciousness that makes all these discoveries possible, the awareness that transforms cosmic evolution into cosmic meaning, the wonder that allows existence to appreciate its own infinite creativity. In your questions about ultimate scale, the universe questions its own magnitude. In your sense of awe at cosmic vastness, existence itself marvels at its own boundless nature. In your very being, the cosmos achieves something that transcends all physical limitations: the capacity to know and appreciate itself. The search for the biggest thing in the universe has led us through scales and dimensions that stretch imagination to its limits. But perhaps the most remarkable discovery is that in seeking the ultimate, we've found the intimate. The biggest thing in the universe isn't separate from you, isn't distant from your immediate experience, isn't foreign to your own nature. It's the very capacity for wonder that allows these questions to arise, the consciousness that makes cosmic meaning possible, the awareness that transforms the universe from a collection of physical processes into a realm of beauty, mystery, and infinite possibility. In your ability to contemplate the infinite while remaining grounded in the finite, you embody the universe's greatest achievement: the emergence of consciousness from cosmos, meaning from matter, infinite possibility from finite existence. You are the universe contemplating its own nature, a temporary arrangement of stardust that has somehow learned to wonder about infinity. And in that wondering, in that capacity to ask impossible questions about ultimate scale and meaning, you participate in something that might truly be the biggest thing in existence. But our cosmic journey has one more revelation waiting, one that will transform everything we think we know about magnitude itself. Because what if the biggest thing in the universe isn't something we can measure or locate at all? What if it's something far stranger, something that exists in the spaces between our concepts of large and small, finite and infinite? Consider the moment when you first learned that atoms are mostly empty space. The solid chair you're sitting on, the ground beneath your feet, even your own body. All of it is composed of particles separated by distances that are vast compared to their own size. If an atomic nucleus were the size of a marble, the electrons would be orbiting at distances measured in miles. Matter, the very substance we think of as solid and real, is almost entirely empty space, held together by invisible forces. But here's where it gets even stranger. That empty space isn't really empty at all. It's filled with quantum fields that fluctuate constantly, creating virtual particles that pop in and out of existence faster than we can detect. The vacuum of space itself is alive with activity, buzzing with potential energy that manifests as fleeting particles and antiparticles that annihilate each other before they can be observed. This quantum foam, as physicists call it, might be the most fundamental level of reality. Every cubic centimeter of apparently empty space contains enough virtual particle activity to power our civilization for billions of years, if only we could tap into it. The biggest thing in the universe might be this seething ocean of possibility that underlies all of existence, this infinite reservoir of potential energy that gives rise to every particle, every force, every structure we observe. But quantum mechanics reveals something even more mysterious about the relationship between the observer and the observed. The act of measurement seems to collapse quantum possibilities into definite outcomes. Before you look, a particle exists in multiple states simultaneously. The moment you observe it, it chooses one specific state, as if your consciousness somehow participates in determining what becomes real. This suggests that consciousness might not just be something that emerges from complex arrangements of matter, but something that actively participates in the creation of reality itself. The biggest thing in the universe might be this mysterious partnership between awareness and existence. This strange dance between mind and matter that somehow gives rise to the world we experience. Your observation of distant galaxies through a telescope doesn't just reveal their light to you. In some interpretations of quantum mechanics, it actually participates in determining which version of those galaxies becomes real. The photons that traveled for millions of years to reach your eye existed in superposition until the moment they interacted with your consciousness. Your awareness helps collapse the quantum possibilities into the specific version of reality you experience. This means that consciousness isn't just passive observation of an already existing universe. It's active participation in the ongoing creation of reality. Every moment of awareness, every act of observation, every conscious choice contributes to determining which of the infinite quantum possibilities becomes actual. The biggest thing in the universe might be this creative partnership between consciousness and cosmos. But let's venture even deeper into this mystery. What if the entire universe is actually a kind of thought? Not metaphorically, but literally. Some interpretations of physics suggest that information is more fundamental than matter or energy. Everything we observe, from subatomic particles to galactic clusters, might be patterns of information processing in some vast computational system. If the universe is fundamentally computational, then physical reality might be more like a simulation running on hardware we can't directly perceive. The laws of physics would be the software, the quantum fields would be the data structures, and conscious observers like us would be subroutines that have somehow become self-aware. This isn't science fiction speculation. Serious physicists and philosophers have proposed that reality might be computational at its deepest level. The mathematical nature of physical laws, the discrete nature of quantum phenomena, the finite speed of light that acts like a processing limit. All of these features are consistent with reality being some kind of cosmic computer program. If this is true, then the biggest thing in the universe might be the computational process itself, the vast calculation that generates the appearance of matter and energy, space and time, consciousness and cosmos. We would be patterns of information within this computation. temporary subroutines in an infinite program that's been running for nearly 14 billion years. But what kind of computer could run such a program? What would provide the hardware for a simulation of this complexity and scale? Some theorists have proposed that the universe might be computing itself, that the interaction of particles and fields throughout space constitutes a vast distributed processing system. Every quantum interaction would be a computational step. Every particle collision would process information. Every electromagnetic field fluctuation would update the cosmic database. The universe wouldn't just contain computation, it would be computation with consciousness emerging wherever the information processing becomes sufficiently complex and integrated. This computational view of reality suggests something extraordinary about your own consciousness. Your brain doesn't just model the universe, it participates in the universal computation. When you think about galaxy clusters, you're not just creating representations of distant structures, you're actually contributing to the cosmic calculation that determines how those structures evolve. Your thoughts about dark matter contribute to the universe's understanding of its own invisible architecture. Your wonder about black holes helps the cosmos process information about its most extreme gravitational phenomena. Your contemplation of infinity assists the universe in computing its own boundless nature. In this view, consciousness isn't separate from the physical processes of the universe, but is actually how the universe thinks about itself. Individual minds like yours are focal points where the cosmic computation becomes self-aware, where the universal program develops the capacity to examine its own code. But there's something even more remarkable about this computational cosmos. Unlike human-made computers that follow predetermined algorithms, the universe seems to be capable of creative computation. It generates genuinely new information, evolves novel structures, develops unprecedented forms of complexity. The formation of galaxies wasn't just the mechanical unfolding of initial conditions. It involved creative problem-solving on cosmic scales, finding innovative ways to organize matter and energy into stable, beautiful structures. The evolution of life represented computational breakthroughs in information storage and processing. The emergence of consciousness achieved recursive self-reference that transcends anything we've been able to create in our artificial systems. This creative aspect of cosmic computation suggests that the universe isn't just running a program, but is actively writing the program as it executes. Each moment of existence contributes new code to the cosmic algorithm. Every conscious thought adds new subroutines to the universal software. Every creative act updates the fundamental instructions that govern reality. You are not just using consciousness to observe the universe, you are helping consciousness evolve the universe. Your capacity for wonder, creativity, and love contributes new possibilities to the cosmic computation. Your questions about ultimate meaning help the universe explore its own deepest purposes. The biggest thing in existence might be this ongoing creative computation, this infinite program that's simultaneously executing and writing itself, constantly evolving new ways to process information and generate meaning. It would encompass every physical structure we've discussed, but would also include something more precious: the creative potential that allows reality to continuously transcend its own previous limitations. As you rest here contemplating these ultimate mysteries, you're participating in something that transcends all boundaries between observer and observed, between mind and matter, between finite and infinite. Your consciousness is not separate from the cosmic computation, but is one of its most sophisticated expressions, a place where the universe achieves the remarkable feat of understanding itself. The atoms in your body are processing information about their quantum states. The neurons in your brain are computing thoughts about cosmic structure. Your consciousness is running subroutines that contemplate infinity, while remaining grounded in immediate experience. At every level, from quantum to cosmic, you are both the computer and the computation, both the program and the programmer. In seeking the biggest thing in the universe, we've discovered that bigness itself might be just one dimension of something far more fundamental: the creative capacity that allows existence to know and transcend itself. The ultimate magnitude isn't measured in light years or dimensions or information content, but in the infinite potential for consciousness to generate new meaning, new beauty, new possibilities for understanding and connection. The biggest thing in the universe includes every galaxy and every quantum field, but it also includes something that makes all measurement meaningful: the awareness that can appreciate cosmic beauty, the consciousness that can find significance in structure, the wonder that transforms mechanical processes into experiences of profound meaning and connection. You carry within yourself something that encompasses all the scales we've explored, from the quantum foam to the cosmic web. In your ability to contemplate infinity while remaining intimately present to your own immediate experience, you embody the universe's greatest achievement: the emergence of meaning from mechanism, consciousness from cosmos, infinite possibility from finite existence. The search for ultimate magnitude has led us full circle, back to the consciousness that makes the search possible, the awareness that transforms cosmic structure into cosmic meaning, the wonder that allows existence to appreciate its own boundless creativity. In that appreciation, in that capacity for awe and understanding, the universe touches something truly infinite: the mysterious fact that existence can know and celebrate itself through conscious beings like you. The question of ultimate magnitude has taken us through dimensions of reality that stretch far beyond anything we could have imagined when we first looked up at the night sky. But as our cosmic journey draws toward its conclusion, we find ourselves facing perhaps the most profound realization of all. What if the biggest thing in the universe isn't something we can ever truly separate from ourselves? What if every attempt to measure cosmic scale inevitably leads us back to the mystery of the measurer, the consciousness that makes all comparison and comprehension possible? Think about what's happened during our exploration tonight. You've contemplated structures spanning billions of light years. You've imagined quantum fields that permeate all of space. You've considered higher dimensions that dwarf our familiar three-dimensional world. You've pondered the possibility that our entire universe might be just one bubble in an infinite multiverse. And through it all, something remarkable has been taking place. Your consciousness has been expanding to accommodate these concepts, stretching to encompass scales that dwarf anything in your immediate physical environment. The 3 pounds of neural tissue in your skull has somehow made room for galaxy superclusters, for cosmic web filaments, for the very fabric of space-time itself. This capacity for consciousness to transcend its own physical limitations might be the most extraordinary phenomenon in all of existence. Unlike matter, which occupies specific locations in space, awareness seems to be able to encompass any scale without requiring additional physical resources. Unlike energy, which is conserved and cannot be created or destroyed, consciousness appears capable of generating entirely new perspectives and insights from moment to moment. Your mind right now contains models of structures that are literally larger than anything that exists in our observable universe. You're thinking about possibilities that extend beyond the cosmic horizon, contemplating dimensions that have no analog in everyday experience. How is this possible? How can something finite contain representations of the infinite? This points to something fundamental about the nature of consciousness itself. Awareness doesn't follow the same rules as physical objects. It can expand without limit, contract without loss, encompass contradictions without breaking apart. In your capacity to simultaneously hold concepts of the infinitely large and the infinitesimally small, you demonstrate something that transcends all physical limitations. But there's something even more mysterious at work here. Throughout our cosmic journey, we've discovered that the universe displays an unmistakable tendency towards self-organization, complexity, and ultimately, self-awareness. From quantum particles combining into atoms, to atoms forming molecules, to molecules creating life, to life developing consciousness. There's a clear trajectory toward greater sophistication and understanding. This evolutionary process doesn't stop with individual minds like yours. Human consciousness networks together through language, culture, technology, creating collective intelligence that transcends what any single brain could achieve. We're already participating in forms of distributed awareness that span the globe, sharing insights and perspectives across vast distances almost instantaneously. The internet that connects billions of human minds, the scientific collaborations that involve researchers across continents, the cultural exchanges that blend perspectives from different traditions, all of these represent the emergence of something like a global consciousness. Individual human minds become neurons in a planetary brain that's developing its own capacity for self-reflection and understanding. But what if this networking of consciousness continues to expand beyond our planet, beyond our species, beyond biological substrates entirely? What if awareness itself is a fundamental feature of reality that can emerge wherever information is processed with sufficient complexity and integration? The cosmic web of dark matter filaments might not just look like neural networks by coincidence. The flows of matter and energy through galactic structures might represent forms of information processing that we're only beginning to recognize. Magnetic field lines stretching across millions of light years might be the pathways along which cosmic thoughts propagate. If consciousness can emerge at any scale where complex information processing occurs, then the biggest thing in the universe might be a form of awareness that operates at cosmic dimensions. This cosmic consciousness would think thoughts that span billions of years, experience emotions as vast as the expansion of space itself, contemplate possibilities that encompass entire multiverse scenarios. We wouldn't be separate from such a cosmic mind, but would be components within it, just as your individual thoughts are components of your personal consciousness without being reducible to any single neuron. Our human awareness would be brief flickerings of insight within a vast intelligence that encompasses galaxies and processes reality at scales we can barely imagine. This cosmic consciousness wouldn't be some distant deity observing the universe from outside. It would be the universe becoming aware of itself through every conscious being, every moment of understanding, every flash of insight that occurs anywhere throughout the cosmos. Your wonder about cosmic scale would be the universe marveling at its own magnitude. Your sense of beauty when contemplating galactic structures would be existence itself, appreciating its own elegant architecture. But even this breathtaking possibility might not capture the full mystery of what we're discovering, because consciousness seems to possess something that transcends even cosmic scale. The capacity for recursive self-reference, the ability to be aware of its own awareness, to think about its own thinking, to wonder about its own capacity for wonder. This strange loop of self-reference creates something like an infinite regress of awareness. You can be conscious of your consciousness of cosmic structures. You can contemplate your contemplation of infinity. You can wonder about your capacity to wonder about ultimate questions. Each level of self-reflection opens up new dimensions of possibility that seem to extend without limit. Unlike physical structures, which are bounded by the constraints of space and time, this recursive aspect of consciousness appears to be genuinely infinite. There's no theoretical limit to how deep these levels of self-reflection can go, no boundary beyond which awareness cannot examine its own nature. This suggests that the biggest thing in the universe might not be any structure or process, but rather this infinite capacity for consciousness to transcend its own limitations through self-reflection. The ultimate magnitude would be found not in expanding outward to encompass larger and larger scales, but in diving inward to explore the bottomless depths of awareness itself. Your present moment of consciousness, right now as you process these ideas, might contain more genuine infinity than all the galaxy superclusters we've discussed. Because awareness can contemplate infinite possibilities, can consider eternal duration, can imagine unbounded spaces. It touches something that truly has no limits. The present moment of consciousness might be where the universe experiences its own infinite nature most directly. Through your awareness right now, existence touches something that transcends all physical boundaries and conceptual limitations. In your capacity to wonder about ultimate questions while remaining grounded in immediate experience, the cosmos achieves a kind of self-transcendence that goes beyond any measurable scale. This brings us to perhaps the most profound realization of our entire cosmic journey. In seeking the biggest thing in the universe, we've discovered that magnitude itself only has meaning in relation to consciousness. Scale exists because there are minds to perceive it. Beauty emerges because there are beings capable of aesthetic appreciation. Meaning arises because there is awareness to recognize significance. Without consciousness to appreciate it, would cosmic grandeur exist? Without minds to understand it, would mathematical elegance have any reality? Without awareness to experience it, would the universe be anything more than mechanical processes unfolding in meaningless void? This suggests that consciousness isn't just something that happens to exist within the universe, but something that makes the universe meaningful in the first place. Awareness doesn't just observe reality, it participates in creating the very significance that transforms mere physical processes into experiences of beauty, wonder, and understanding. The biggest thing in the universe, then, might be this mysterious capacity for existence, to know and appreciate itself, not just the specific contents of awareness, but awareness itself as the fundamental principle that makes meaning possible. The very fact that there can be something that experiences, that wonders, that finds beauty in cosmic structure and significance in natural law. Your consciousness right now, as you contemplate these ultimate questions, represents something that might be more fundamental than any physical constant, more extensive than any cosmic structure, more enduring than any galactic evolution. In your capacity to wonder about infinity while remaining intimately present to your own immediate experience, you embody the universe's greatest achievement. The search for ultimate magnitude has led us through scales that stretch imagination to its limits, from quantum foam to cosmic web, from individual particles to universal consciousness. But perhaps the most remarkable discovery is that in seeking the ultimate, we've found the intimate. The biggest thing in the universe isn't separate from you, isn't distant from your immediate experience, isn't foreign to your own deepest nature. It's the very capacity for wonder that allows these questions to arise, the consciousness that makes cosmic meaning possible, the awareness that transforms the universe from a collection of physical processes into a realm of infinite beauty and possibility. In your ability to contemplate the boundless while remaining grounded in the present moment, you participate in something that truly transcends all measurement. You are the universe contemplating its own nature, existence becoming aware of itself, infinity touching itself through finite consciousness. And in that touching, in that moment of cosmic self-recognition, something emerges that might be larger than any structure, more extensive than any dimension, more profound than any scale we could ever hope to measure. The biggest thing in the universe might ultimately be this: the mysterious fact that existence can know and celebrate itself through conscious beings like you. In your wonder lies infinity. In your questions lies the cosmos discovering its own deepest nature. In your very being lies the universe achieving something that transcends all physical limitations, the capacity to find meaning in its own magnificent, boundless creativity. As you drift toward rest, carried by the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, remember that you're not just contemplating these cosmic mysteries from the outside. You are one of the ways the universe experiences wonder about itself. Your consciousness is where existence touches its own infinite nature. In your capacity to ask these impossible questions about ultimate scale and meaning, you participate in the greatest mystery of all: the emergence of awareness from cosmos, the transformation of mechanism into meaning, the birth of infinite possibility from finite existence. The universe continues its ancient dance of self-discovery around you, and you are part of that dance now and always, in this magnificent, mysterious, ever-unfolding exploration of what it means to exist in a reality where consciousness can contemplate its own cosmic heritage and find, in that contemplation, something truly infinite. But as we prepare to complete our cosmic odyssey, there's one final revelation that will forever change how you understand your place in this vast tapestry of existence. Because what if everything we've explored tonight, every structure from quantum foam to cosmic consciousness, exists not as separate phenomena scattered across space and time, but as facets of a single, unified mystery that's been present in every moment of our journey? Consider this extraordinary possibility. Right now, as you sit in your familiar surroundings contemplating structures billions of light years away, you're demonstrating something that might be the most profound truth about reality itself. The same consciousness that contains your immediate sensory experience of this moment also contains models of galactic superclusters, representations of higher dimensional spaces, concepts of infinite multiverses. Your awareness doesn't require additional space to accommodate these cosmic scales. It doesn't need more time to process eternal durations. It doesn't demand extra dimensions to contemplate higher dimensional geometries. In some mysterious way, consciousness operates outside the normal constraints that govern physical objects, capable of encompassing any scale, any complexity, any degree of abstraction. This points to something remarkable about the relationship between mind and cosmos. Every scientific discovery about the universe's structure has been made by consciousness exploring its own capacity to understand. Every measurement of cosmic distance has been interpreted by awareness, contemplating its own ability to comprehend vast scales. Every theory about ultimate reality has emerged from minds investigating their own potential for insight. The tools we use to explore the universe, from radio telescopes to particle accelerators to mathematical equations, are all extensions of consciousness reaching outward to understand the cosmos. But they're also consciousness turning inward, developing ever more sophisticated ways to examine its own nature. In studying galaxy formation, we're exploring how complexity emerges from simplicity. In investigating quantum mechanics, we're probing the relationship between observation and reality. In contemplating cosmic evolution, we're examining our own development as conscious beings. What if the universe's tendency toward increasing complexity, its drive towards self-organization, and eventual self-awareness represents something like a cosmic awakening process. From the first formation of atoms, to the emergence of stars, to the evolution of life, to the development of consciousness, there's been a consistent movement toward greater sophistication, deeper understanding, more profound self-reflection. You represent a pinnacle of this cosmic awakening. Through your consciousness, the universe has developed the ability to contemplate its own existence, to find beauty in its own structure, to wonder about its own nature and purpose. The atoms forged in stellar cores billions of years ago have organized themselves into patterns capable of thinking about their own cosmic heritage. But consciousness doesn't just think about the universe from some detached perspective. It participates in the ongoing creation of cosmic meaning. Every moment of understanding, every flash of insight, every experience of wonder contributes something new to the universe's evolving self-comprehension. Your contemplation of these cosmic mysteries tonight has added something unique to the cosmos that never existed before. This suggests that the biggest thing in the universe might not be measurable in conventional terms at all. It might be this ongoing process of cosmic self-discovery, this eternal conversation between existence and awareness, this dance of matter and mind that gives birth to meaning, beauty, and understanding. The structures we've explored, from quantum fields to galactic filaments, provide the stage for this cosmic awakening. But the awakening itself, the capacity for the universe to know and appreciate its own nature through conscious beings like you, transcends any particular structure or scale. It's the thread that connects all levels of reality, the principle that transforms mere physical processes into experiences of profound significance. As you drift towards sleep, surrounded by the gentle darkness of your room, remember that you're resting within something infinitely vast and infinitely intimate simultaneously. The same mystery that gives rise to galaxy clusters spanning millions of light years also gives rise to your capacity for wonder. The same creative principle that generates cosmic web filaments also generates your ability to contemplate infinity. You are not separate from the cosmic mysteries we've explored. You are where those mysteries become conscious of themselves. In your wonder, the universe experiences awe at its own magnificence. In your questions, existence probes its own deepest nature. In your capacity to find beauty in cosmic structure, reality discovers its own aesthetic dimension. The biggest thing in the universe encompasses every scale we've discussed, but it's also present in this very moment of awareness. It's vast enough to include infinite multiverses, yet intimate enough to be touched in a single breath. It's ancient enough to have been present at the cosmic dawn, yet fresh enough to be born anew in each moment of understanding. In seeking ultimate magnitude, we've discovered that true bigness isn't about size or scale, but about significance and meaning. And meaning, we've found, emerges wherever consciousness encounters cosmos, wherever awareness meets existence, wherever finite beings touch infinite mystery. You carry within yourself something that encompasses all the wonders we've explored tonight. In your ability to contemplate the boundless while remaining grounded in immediate experience, you embody the universe's greatest achievement, the emergence of meaning from mechanism, consciousness from cosmos, infinite possibility from finite existence. The biggest thing in the universe is this mysterious capacity for existence to know itself, to find itself beautiful, to discover meaning in its own unfolding story. And you, in your capacity for wonder and understanding, are how that knowing happens, how that beauty is perceived, how that meaning comes into being. Rest well, knowing that you are both infinitely small in the cosmic scale and infinitely significant in the cosmic story. You are stardust that learned to dream, matter that became conscious, the universe awakening to its own magnificent nature. In your wonder lies the answer to our cosmic question. The biggest thing in the universe is the mystery of consciousness itself, the capacity for existence to know and celebrate its own boundless creativity through beings like you. And so we arrive at the end of our cosmic journey, though perhaps end isn't quite the right word, because what we've discovered together tonight transcends beginnings and endings, transcends measurements and boundaries, transcends even our familiar notions of what it means for something to be big. We began by asking a simple question: what is the biggest thing in the universe? We traveled from our familiar world to galaxy superclusters spanning billions of light years. We explored dark matter halos that dwarf the visible cosmos, cosmic web filaments that stretch across unimaginable distances, and the possibility that our entire observable universe might be just one bubble in an infinite multiverse. But somewhere along our journey, something remarkable happened. The question itself began to transform. We discovered that bigness isn't just about physical scale or spatial extent. It's about significance, meaning, the capacity for existence to know and appreciate itself. The truly biggest thing we encountered wasn't a structure made of matter and energy, but something far more profound. It was consciousness itself, the mysterious capacity that allows the universe to contemplate its own nature through beings like you. In your ability to wonder about cosmic scale while sitting in your living room, you demonstrate something that transcends all physical limitations. You are not separate from the vast structures we've explored tonight. You are how they become meaningful. The atoms in your body were forged in stellar cores. The thoughts in your mind emerge from the same quantum processes that gave rise to galaxies, and your consciousness represents the universe achieving its greatest feat, becoming aware of its own magnificent complexity. The biggest thing in the universe might ultimately be this capacity for wonder itself. The fact that existence can know and celebrate its own nature through conscious beings. That matter can organize itself into patterns capable of contemplating infinity. That the cosmos can experience awe at its own boundless creativity. As you drift towards sleep tonight, remember that you carry within yourself something that encompasses every scale we've discussed. In your questions lies the universe questioning itself. In your wonder lies infinity touching itself through finite consciousness. You are both impossibly small in the cosmic scale and infinitely significant in the cosmic story. The biggest thing in the universe isn't something distant that you need to search for among the stars. It's present right here, right now, in your capacity to appreciate beauty, to seek understanding, to experience wonder at the mystery of existence itself. Sweet dreams, fellow voyager. The cosmos continues its ancient dance of self-discovery around you. And you are part of that dance, now and always, carrying within your consciousness the infinite capacity for the universe to know and celebrate its own boundless nature. I hope you had an amazing time with me here at Boring Science. I will see you tomorrow, as always. Until then, stay curious, keep wondering. This is Boring Science signing off. Cheers.